Welcome to Ask the Hiring Manager. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Ask the Hiring Manager. Today, I am happy to welcome Amir Sachs, cybersecurity expert, founder of Blue Light IT, and 2 times best-selling author, father of 4, and most importantly, longtime husband to Sarit. Amir, great to have you here.
Thank you, Leslie, for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So how many companies overall have you owned?
Yeah, I think if we put a number of a dozen, that will be a good number.
Wow. Wow. So out of the companies that you have owned, which one had the largest number of employees?
I would say the casinos had the largest number of employees. We had about close to 200 people that worked for us.
That's a lot. So, with having such a large staff, 200 people, and from a management point of view, what would you say were the biggest challenges of managing a large staff? And did you do specific things to incentivize your employees to perform to the best of their ability?
So, Leslie, I think the biggest challenges are culture and individual attention to people. Everybody wants to feel unique. When you're dealing with 200 people, it's not easy. We had a flat organization, so everyone had access to management on an equal level. There were not. It's not what is the word I'm looking for? It's not a company with structures where 10 people have one manager and this manager has another manager. It was very flat. It was the floor staff, and then there was management. So individual attention was a little bit difficult. Culture, we employed anyone who had a good attitude to people. So from a cultural point of view, various cultures. It was in South Africa, so you have people from all kinds of backgrounds. It was a learning curve. It was an experience.
And so, what were your overall takeaways and learnings from seeing the ins and outs of these various businesses? And feel free to take your time, because I know you've done had a lot of businesses.
It's every business gives you a different view into things that you want to do. For me, the biggest takeaways from all the businesses was you have to do something that you love. If you're not doing something that you love, you're going to wake up in the morning, either as a business owner or as an employee, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to say, oh my God, not another day at the office. There were some days that I did not want to go to work. I didn't want to go and open the shop or whatever it is, because it was frustrating. I didn't enjoy it. In 1999, I was very frustrated from life in general. I made a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. I made a lot of money again. And I sat down with my wife and I said, I'm not happy. What's next on the cards for us? And she said, we started discussing all the various businesses we've had. And she goes, there's a common thread between all those businesses. In every single company, you've implemented technology and you've written software to run the business. Why don't you open a technology company? Why don't you open an IT company? And I looked at her and I said, you know what? That is the reason why I married you. For this moment, that is why we got married. And I opened my IT company in 2000, and I've owned an IT company since then. It's 23 years now.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, smart wife. Smart wife. I see why you did too. Where did this overall interest or passion come from with programming and cybersecurity?
Excellent question. Cybersecurity is something that you learn on the job, or IT security is something that you learn on the job, and you learn it once you get hacked a couple of times. The programming, I was fascinated with programming when I was very, very young. I was 13 years old when I got managed to convince my father to buy me my first computer. And it came with a big, thick book like this in English. I was living in Israel. My English wasn't as good as it is today. Not that my English is so good today, but and I read the book. It was a book about basic programming. I read it front to cover. Didn't understand a word, but I was so intrigued with the concept of being able to feed something in the computer and get an output that I sat down, and took me about 3 weeks to figure out the first chapter, which was preface. I had no idea what the word preface was. And I literally sat down with the dictionary and had to look up every single word until I came to the word example. And I figured out that whatever is written in the example, I need to punch into the computer on the screen, and skipped all the book and just went from one example to another and taught myself to program. When it's a skill, I got it over 43 years ago, and it's a skill I use today. Programming.
That's great, and that interest started so young, and that you delved in. Tell me
And
more
just to
about.
go back, just to go back to your cybersecurity. When I opened the IT company in 2000, we did web hosting, and we had zero security those days. The internet was a beautiful place with very little crime. And then people figured out they can hack, and the hacking started. And we learned the hard way. I had a partner at the time. We learned the hard way how to put up firewalls, how to look after, how to patch, how to make sure we have backups. And that came very handy in 2008 when I moved to South Florida, because we took everything that I've learned during those 8 years and implemented it in Blue Light IT.
Very interesting. And, on that wavelength, tell me more about Blue Light IT. I think we know what type of company it is, but specifically, what do you all provide overall when it comes to cybersecurity?
We at Blue Light IT, we like to call it soup to nuts. We are a single point of contact IT company, which means that basically any problem related to technology, the first point of call will be Blue Light. Our customers call us or email us and say, "Hey, I have this problem. My web-based website is not working. My web-based application is not working." Even though we don't manage that web-based application, we are still their first point of contact. We do all the basic troubleshooting, and then we call the vendor to figure out what the issue is. Everything we do has a security-first approach. So if it's your email, we make sure that the email is secure. If it's your office, home, personal stuff, everything is always looked on at a security mindset. I like to give analogies to real life. So we are like your VIP protection. You walk in the street, you don't have to worry about somebody attacking you, somebody trying to steal you or steal from you or hurt you. It's what we do online. The biggest difference between the real world and online is in the real world, you have your eyes and you can see that you have dangers on the internet. And when you work on the computer, you cannot see those challenges, you cannot see those risks. And that's what we do. We manage those risks for companies.
You're like the eyes of the, essentially. Yeah. And how did you decide on the name Blue Light IT?
It is such a boring story. My company at the time in South Africa was called Blue Sky Internet Online. When we registered the company in the States, the company registrar didn't like the name Internet Online. And I sat down with my partner then, and we said it's gonna be with blue. And we put up a couple of ideas. One of them was Blue Light IT. And we submitted all the ideas to the registrar, and they came back and they said Blue Light IT can work. So we said, okay, so it will be Blue Light IT.
Yeah. Is your favorite color blue? I'm curious between blue sky and
yeah. It was pure fluke.
Yeah. What type of clients does Blue Light IT attract, or do you work with in general?
Excellent question, Leslie. We love working with all types of companies. We don't distinguish between manufacturers or lawyers or CPAs or e-commerce companies. I personally believe that when you work on a computer and you have a computer network, it doesn't really matter what it is that the company does. We love working with companies who have 20 employees or more. We have clients that have 400 employees. We have clients that have 20 employees. We deliver a lot of value to companies between 200 and 120 employees because most of them lack order and structure when it comes to operations. And based on my background in manufacturing and having various businesses, when I come into a company, I can sit down and I can look at the company and I know exactly what their problems are because I've done that. I've been there and I've done that. So we bring in a lot of value to those type of size companies.
What you said, roughly like around 150, 200 employees or so?
Yeah, 20. We'll start off with 20 and we'll go up to a few hundred.
Great, great. And how important, it sounds like it's pretty important, but how important is cybersecurity for both individuals and businesses today? And how likely is a business to get hacked?
I'll start with your permission, Leslie, in the second question. How
Sure.
likely are you to get hacked? On a scale of 1 to 100, 1 being least likely and 100 being very likely, the answer is 100. You are going to get hacked. It's not a question of when. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Okay? I wake up in the morning and the first thought that comes to my head is, okay, I've been hacked this morning. What am I going to do about it? It's going to happen. Anybody who believes they're not going to get hacked lives in a la la land. How important is cybersecurity? The question really relates to risk tolerance. I have friends who own multiple properties, investment properties in South Florida, and they don't insure these properties. And in South Florida, we have hurricanes. Every time there's a hurricane warning, they shake and they stress, and they're worried about they're going to lose all the investment. And then when the hurricane goes past and nothing happened, they go, yeah, I'm very happy. They have a very high risk tolerance. There's a lot of people who buy investment property and they have insurance on the properties, especially in South Florida because of the hurricanes. And I guess it really depends on people. What is the first thing you would do when you get into a car?
Put your seatbelt on. Yeah.
So would you be surprised to know that some people don't put the seatbelt on?
I'm not surprised. I just think it's risky.
Right. So in your life, you're not prepared to take the risk of having a head-on collision and literally dying, right? And some people say, okay, so I'll take my chances. In my world, the type of phone calls that we get on a daily basis from companies who say they've lost $10,000, $100,000, $300,000, $1.4 million to scams and to being hacked. Yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer. Everybody must protect themselves.
Yes.
We work with, there will be a news story that comes out soon about it, but we work with celebrities, we work with, there's a whole new generation of influencers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, and all those. We helped a local celebrity here recover her Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. Horrible experience. She had to move houses because her address
was leaked.
Right. And it's it can be a life-changing experience.
I'm sure. And that's really, that's good to know too, that it sounds like businesses, like you said, with any businesses, but I'm assuming 20 and up employees into the hundreds. And it sounds like you're also working with individuals that have their brands, that have also, and as you mentioned, anyone can have a high likelihood of being hacked, but particularly as far as individuals goes, I could understand why celebrities or well-known people, of course, are like prime targets as well. So good to know. Really good to know. And so being the founder of Blue Light IT, I'm assuming that hiring is probably one of your job tasks. What's your approach when you interview a hiree? What types of things are you looking for?
First and foremost, in our line of business, we look for attitude. We look for somebody who can look you in the eye and talk to you without being afraid. People who sit in the interview in this position and don't have a good verbal communication, for us, it's a problem. While most of the work that we do is remote, we do have a need to go on site and be able to talk to people, and you cannot have somebody who lacks confidence. We teach our staff all the technical skills. Some come with technical skills, some come brand new and no idea what's going on with them. But for us, the most important thing is the ability to hold a conversation.
That's very important. Maybe a biased coming from the interviewer, but yes, I think that's so important. And so it sounds like you're looking for people skills, which is important, or at least, as you mentioned, able to hold a conversation, look someone in the eye. And in terms of resume, are there specific things that you do, kind of look to see in a resume of a potential hiree?
It's a very good question. My interviews are very different, all right? A lot of people are very stressed when they come to an interview. It's either their first job that they're interviewing for, or they were laid off and they have an urgent need to make money. And so a lot of people arrive stressed, and I believe in asking them personal things if they want to share, but not personal, but things like, what are your hobbies? I try and make them feel comfortable by talking about things that they love to do. For me, the ability to learn is very important. I've been in business for 35 years more, almost 40 years now, and I learn new things every day. I think the ability to learn is crucial, and you learn from reading. And so my typical interview question will be, do you read? And if yes, what do you read? And if they tell me a book, Tom Jones goes on a trip in the Netherlands, I have no idea what the book is about, but I will ask them to talk to me about the book. I will look and see if they're confident talking about the book. I will look and see how into they are, how much they are into the book and things like that.
Well, that's good to know. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because it sounds like that you're asking questions, but it sounds like it's not so important the words that they're saying, but actually, studying and observing, like you said, their confidence, their passion, it sounds like too, if they have a passion even maybe for what they're reading, or so that's really insightful, actually.
Look, if I was running a manufacturing plant again, I would be looking for different things. Then you look for specific skills. But we are in the service industry. The fact that we deliver IT and cybersecurity is secondary to the fact that we have to deliver service. And so when we do that, you need to have the ability to deliver that service. If you lack that, then it doesn't matter how good you are at what you do, you're just not going to deliver correctly.
Very true. Very true. What are the biggest differences in your hiring approach that Blue Light IT, which I'm glad you shared, versus at other companies that you've owned?
I think what I just mentioned, it depends on the job. If you're hiring for a retail operation or something that is customer facing, I think attitude is extremely important. In the casinos, we hired only for attitude, but I managed a factory for marble and granite for 7 years, and 90% of the staff didn't need to face customers. They were factory workers, and so if they could hold a grinder in their hand, that was good enough for us.
Yeah, you don't have to be an entertainer to work in
Exactly.
a factory. So that makes
Exactly.
sense. That very much makes sense. Would you say across the various industries that you've worked that there are recurring qualities in job applicants that you feel make them successful individually and for the company? I know you talked about the difference between, people facing jobs or not, but overall, do you find that there's something that kind of makes job applicants at their core successful, or people that are working in jobs successful?
Over and above what we've already discussed, I think the ability to be direct, for me as a interviewer, I think is very important. But again, hiring for a role in a factory, in a production, and hiring, even hiring a CPA for at the end of the day, if you're an accountant and you're sitting and you're working with numbers and you're not really interfacing with customers, then you need to know the numbers. You need to know the profession. And it's going to be very difficult to teach you how to be an accountant on the job. In the IT world, it's different.
Very true. Very true. It sounds like and even as you describe when interviewing applicants, looking at their confidence and kind of people skills, that with your business, that it is people facing enough. I think sometimes people, I might even think of someone that's doing cybersecurity as maybe not so people facing because maybe you're dealing with coding or behind the computer, but it sounds like people skills are very important in at least your business and your service.
Yes. So our business, we will have people who are customer facing, and the people who do the cybersecurity stuff, they're going to be vendor facing.
Okay.
So they're going to be talking to vendors, and you got to be able to talk to the vendors in the same way you talk to customers. You can make your demands to vendors. You cannot really make demands to customers, but you still got to be able to hold your conversation and articulate a specific issue or a problem or a solution for that matter.
Do you find that it's rare, out of curiosity, to find individuals, and I know you and your business train them, but in general, to find individuals who are very technical at whatever it is, very, very good at what they do from a technical aspect, but also equally as people oriented? Obviously you are, so there's one example.
Yeah, so it's an interesting concept. I've found very, very few people who are capable of doing both, being a good technical person and a good orator, and have the confidence to talk in front of people. The vast majority of the people will only have one of those qualities. So people who are really good from a technical point of view will be horrible managers. And people who are great managers are not so good at technical stuff. And you have to find the in between.
Very true. And I'm assuming that's maybe one of the reasons that you train on more of the technical aspect, that you see something and maybe they have a background, but that you're looking for those those people and forward-facing skills and feel that the technical aspects can be trained?
So for us at Blue Light IT, we don't know how to teach people self-confidence. We don't know how to teach people to talk and look you in the face, but I can teach you technology. So we look for people who have the things that we can't teach them already from home, and we teach them what we can. For me, I can take anyone, and as long as they have the willingness to learn technology, we can teach them technology. We throw them in the water, we let them swim, we don't let them drown. But the metaphor still holds true. We'll show them something once, twice, three times, and expect them to do it. It's not rocket science. At the end of the day, most people grow up with technology at home, and they have an understanding and they know how to use it. So for us, it's easy. I have peers. I meet with dozens of people on a monthly basis, and some of them come in and say, "No, I don't want to teach anyone anything. They must come and they must know they must know all the technical stuff, and I don't care if they know how to talk to, because I can teach them how to talk to customers." So, it's very specific to us and not to the as a whole.
I personally like your approach. I think that, with different areas, even with what I do as a technical writer, and I am a people person. However, I do feel that I agree with you. I think that it's some teaching people skills. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I do feel that it takes a whole lot more effort.
It's not a question of effort. It takes a whole lot of effort to teach somebody technical skills.
True.
But it's something that I know how to do.
Very true.
Right? I don't know how to teach you to be talkative.
True.
It's not a skill that I have.
Yeah, I don't know, even though I'm talkative, I don't know that I can teach others. It may be a matter of just how you are naturally. It could very well be, but that's very interesting. I like your approach. So great. And you mentioned earlier in our conversation about I think being happy with what you do, or that it's important for people to be happy with what you do. I assume that you're happy. Are you happy with what you're doing?
Absolutely. Every morning I wake up, and remember, my first thought is, I've been hacked. What am I going to do about it? And the second thought is, I'm happy to go to the office. I wake up early on a Saturday morning. I wake up early on a Sunday morning, and my wife might wake up an hour after me, and she looks at me, she goes, "Why are you on your laptop? Why are you working?" I go, "Because I like it. I enjoy it." It's something that I'm passionate about, and I'll do it for as long as I can.
That's great. I know I think it's really important to do what you love. Then you don't feel like you're working. Yeah, exactly. So how crucial, and I already know the answer to this question, but how crucial do you think that it is for people to enjoy what they do for work?
You know what? So here's my theory. There are 24 hours in the day. I'm assuming that everyone sleeps 7 to 8 hours. That leaves us with 16 hours. Okay? There's 30 minutes minimum getting from the house and getting to work if you work from an office. So there's another hour that's left. That leaves you with 15 hours. 8 of them you're going to spend at the office. So you're left with 7 hours to spend with your family. You don't spend the same amount of time with everyone in your family that you spend with the people in the office. So really, you spend most of the day at the office. And for me, if you go to work and you're unhappy, then you live a miserable life. And, they've asked old people on their deathbed, what do you regret most? And they say, I regret not having more fun. I think that if somebody who goes to work and is not happy, should look at finding a new job.
Thanks for those insights. I think it's super important, to do what you love, or at least find enjoyment, some sort of enjoyment. I understand that maybe not everyone's in the optimal position to have their dream job immediately. However, it's hard to do something for me that there's just that you don't enjoy at all. So
you do something that you don't enjoy, it shows, right?
yes.
Look, I have to be realistic. Most of the people go to the job because it pays.
Sure.
And it's fine. We find that when we employ people who love what they do, it shows. Customers come and tell us, Josh is great, Carl is fantastic, Manny is awesome. I get these things every day. You've met Gil, right?
Yes.
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
If you have a miserable person that comes and looks at your computer and you go, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that, it's not nice.
No, absolutely. Attitude is everything. Enjoyment. It made me think, as a side note, why it's important, as you said, to do what you love. I met a extremely bright young woman out some weeks ago, and she was very humble. She asked me what I did, and we talked, and I asked her what she did. She's an attorney. And when I say she's humble, I found out later that she attended Harvard Law School. But I thought about the conversation we had before I found that out. Obviously, Harvard's extremely competitive. And that the evening that we met, she said, "Do you enjoy doing what you do?" And I said, "I love it." I said, "What about you?" She said, "I hate it." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "I do." And I said, "Well, at one point in my past, I thought about law school, but I decided to not do it, and to kind of do something that I felt I would love more, which I do." However, I did share with her, I said, I thought about law school. She's like, "Don't do it." And obviously there are some people who are passionate about law, my younger sisters in law. And if you have a passion for it, that's great. You have to have a passion, especially in law. But I just found it so interesting that this Harvard Law School graduate, that I'm sure for many people have the dream job of going to a top Ivy League school and working for a top law firm. And from what she communicated to me, she did not enjoy what she did. So I think it doesn't, in my opinion, not to go on a diatribe, but it's not about the fancy degrees. I'm all about education. Education's great. I have my master's, but it's not the only thing that matters, because you can go to the top schools, you can work at the top whatever firms, and if you don't really enjoy what you do and come home miserable, then does it really matter if you're making millions or whatever the amount is, or hundreds of thousands, right? So
everybody suffers as a result of you being miserable. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. So I won't continue on, because it'd be an hour and a half conversation, but I'm glad that we hit that topic, because I think that's super important in life, to be happy. So, generally on that topic too, do you feel that there are things that employers can do differently to increase overall employee satisfaction and make employees feel more valued at work?
I think the number one thing that employers can do to raise employee morale is recognize their qualities and their achievements. A tap on the shoulder, a kind word is phenomenal. I find that a lot of employees prefer that to having a price increase that doesn't come with a good word. I'm sorry, not a price increase, a salary raise.
Right.
So an increase in a salary, everybody wants to make more money, but employees will value more. Most employees will value you're awesome much more than getting an extra amount of money on their paycheck.
I think that morale is important. Yeah, that boosts morale and
Yeah.
very well noted. Very well noted. You're a two-time best-selling author. That's amazing. So what are your works on?
I write about cybersecurity in small businesses. Small businesses are the core of the economy. Small businesses employ more people than publicly listed companies. Yes, you have a publicly listed company that will employ 5,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 people, and you'll need 20 or 10,000 small businesses to employ that amount of people, but there are far more small businesses around than big businesses. I prefer to go and buy something from a small business because I know I'm helping somebody to put their kids through college, as opposed to helping somebody buy his third or fourth car or pay for their jets. So I'm very passionate about small businesses, and small businesses lack the resources to protect themselves from cybersecurity. So if we go a step backward, when you connect any device to the internet, when you connect with your computer, your iPhone, your Android device, your tablet, your laptop, anything that connects to the internet, it's like opening up a store in the biggest crime-ridden area in the world. It's like opening a storefront in the favelas of Brazil. It's dangerous, and people don't understand that. The two books that I've written are aimed to small businesses and to give them advice on what they need to do in order to protect themselves.
That's great. That's extremely useful. Where can we find these works? Amazon or?
Amazon, the largest marketplace in the world. If you go to Amazon and you Google my name, Amir Sachs, the two books will come up, Cybersecurity Now and Cybersecurity Minefield. I've written them together. The first one was written with another 11 of my friends, and the second one was written with another 20 people. And each one gave their own perspective on what needs to be done.
That sounds very fascinating. Congrats too on being
Thank
a best-selling author, not one, but two times. That's great. Is Blue Light IT currently hiring?
We're always hiring. We are looking for salespeople. We are looking for account managers. We're looking for people with cybersecurity, affinity to cybersecurity, people who want to learn more. We have, what is the word I'm looking for? We have programs for internships. Yeah. Anyone can go onto our website. At the bottom of the website, there's a link to apply for open positions, and whatever open positions we have can be applied for.
Great.
And as long as you can talk, and as long as you can look me in the eye when you talk to me, we'll consider you.
You heard it directly from the hiring manager himself and the company founder himself.
Absolutely.
So you guys have the tips, if you want to apply for a job at Blue Light IT. So you mentioned your website. So how can people learn more about Blue Light IT and keep in touch with you?
Okay, so bluelightit.com, the website. We have an active blog. We write all the time on the blog. Social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Just search Blue Light IT or search for my name, Amir Sachs. I'll come up. And on LinkedIn, you can connect with me. We post on a regular basis, and there's always tips and tricks on how to protect yourself, how to protect your company, and be safe. Be safe online.
Great. It has been a pleasure having you here with me today, Amir. Thank you so much for your time and your wisdom and advice to job seekers, especially in the cybersecurity area. And it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Leslie. I enjoyed it very much. And we made it on time, surprisingly.
I told you. I told you. It's been, again, it's wonderful having you here. Thank you to you, Amir, and thank you, viewers, for tuning in. And stay tuned for the next episode of Ask the Hiring Manager. Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Ask the Hiring Manager. I'm Leslie Hunter, president of Resume Makeover. I've been helping job seekers for nearly a decade to acquire their dream jobs and achieve the income they desire, from entry-level applicants to C-suite executives and everyone in between. From your resume to your cover letter, LinkedIn profile, bio, or website content, I'm here for you. And now I'm going to open the door and interview some of the top hiring managers so that you can have the insight that you need to book the jobs that you want. Welcome to Ask the Hiring Manager.